What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of this only 2-part series. As you can see on your screen right now, this is to say nothing more than dang, it's actually happening. 116 days from the recording of this video, 19 hours and 16 minutes, there will be Oktoberfest happening. Now, as I said in the last video, this particular festival is the one that most non-Germans and people who just don't know any better are gonna look forward to now that we know festivals are indeed happening again in 2022. But Oktoberfest is not the only festival there is to attend in Germany. Most Germans will even say that it's not even the best festival that you can attend here in Germany. I personally like the Weihnachtsfest, the Christmas festivals. Those are personally my favorites, but there are a bunch of other ones that I do indeed like. And we're going to take a look at the list right now to see what other festivals that are possible on this first year that they're starting them again after that long 2-year break. Okay, so this list just might be updated as well because it's January 24th of this year and it's 23 festivals in Germany other than Oktoberfest that you can attend. So here we got first Oktoberfest. It's the given one. It's the one that everybody knows about. Am I right? Everybody knows about Oktoberfest. But what are some of the other festivals that we can attend? Let's scroll down this list and see. All right, so this says we have the local Volksfests. Volksfests means the People's Festival, which means that you will find a Volksfest in just about every German town. If you got one of these in almost every German town, this is a festival that you probably shouldn't and wouldn't even miss. Some are big, some are small, but they're all bound to be really fun German cultural festivals that you will forever remember, which in my opinion is most festivals in Germany are. And some are so unique, like the one captioned in this photo in a cave. Look at that. I see what looks like a small band back in the back getting ready to play. I don't know how that's going to be for acoustics, but never mind that, it looks like a hell of a good time. So the local Volksfests are other festivals that you can attend besides Oktoberfest. Let's keep going. All right, so now you have the seasonal fests, Frühlings, Herbst, and Sommer. Many seasonal fests like the aforementioned Nuremberg's Frühlingsfest can be quite similar to the typical Volksfest, complete with beer tents and all. However, some of these aren't the big carnival style fests at all. For example, Regensburg has a Summerfest every few years where vendors and bandstands are spread throughout the entire Altstadt of town. It's more of a leisurely activity than a big party like the Volksfests. So there you go, the seasonal fests, the spring and summer fests that you can attend. Hit those up. Okay, so scrolling down the list, what do we got? I don't know what that means, but let's read it. It says move over beer festivals. This just might be my favorite of the German traditional festivals. Wow, that's a big statement to make. However, you aren't going to find these just anywhere. In order to find one, you are going to have to go way down into the southern part of Bavaria and up into the Alps. So if you're in that region, you most definitely will probably want to hit up one of these. I can understand if you're not in that region, most people aren't going to make a huge commute to just a small space, especially if it's way in the Alps, just to see one of these festivals. But if you're in that area, there's another option. So some of my other favorites, wine fests. If beer isn't your thing, there are plenty of drinks other than the beer, and you can find plenty of wine fests throughout Germany as well. Although known for the purity laws for the delicious beer brews, Germany produces excellent wines as well. While not as rowdy as a typical Volksfest, it is still a blast to walk vendor to vendor trying out the different flavors and varieties of wines. Oh, such a good time. Some you've never even heard about. While the Rhine region is often associated with great vino, don't stop there. The states of Baden-Württemberg, Saarland, Rheinland-Pfalz, and parts of Hessen all have very good wines. You definitely want to hit up a wine fest when you're here. In fact, since the wine fest and Oktoberfest are so close to each other schedule-wise, my suggestion, definitely choose going to the wine fests over Oktoberfest. And this lists some of the ones in the different places: Darmstadt, Stuttgart, Bad Dürkheim, which is the one I typically hit up, Koblenz, Krüv, Traben, Trarbach, which is the Mosel Wine Festival, Conswein, Trier. There's a lot of them here. You can just screenshot this if you want to keep these as a reference. Moving on. All right, let me try to pronounce this. The Kirchweih or Kirta. Depending on the region, the festival may take several different names. This fest is most popularly seen in Bavaria, which is a very Catholic state. A Kirchweih is a celebration over the whole town coming together to remember the dedication of the town's church. There you go, some kind of church festival if you're into church. You can take your church and festival, combine them together, boom, there you go. The fall pumpkin festivals. I just went to one of these last year. If I'm not mistaken, the pumpkin festivals were one of the firsts to actually get back going after the long 2-year break. I might be mistaken with that. Don't quote me on that. I didn't fact check it, but it's the first one I started hearing about before they just opened everything back up. So the fall pumpkin festivals, let's read a little bit. A perfect way to celebrate your harvest is with a festival. In addition to the world's largest beer festival, Germany holds the title for the world's largest pumpkin festival in Ludwigsburg, which is the one I went to, making it one of the most famous German festivals other than Oktoberfest. There you go. And yes, it is exactly what it sounds like. A festival about pumpkins and nothing but pumpkins. But it's a good time. I would still put this in the category of Oktoberfest. Like, I couldn't go to one of these often because I feel like once you've seen it, you've seen it. But it's not like the wine fests or the Christmas markets. If you want to hit it up. But once you see it, you've seen it. Know what I'm saying? And as I scroll, I've come into my number one favorites, the Weihnachtsmarkts or the Christkindlmarkts. Rarely do I hear them being called that, but apparently that's what they are. While not technically a fest, anytime a group of Germans get together for a celebration of some kind, it is a surefire way to have a great time. Even the tiniest towns will have their own Christkindlmarkts. Christmas markets are all the rage from late November, typically the first weekend after the start of Advent, on through Christmas. There is nothing cozier than munching on traditional Lebkuchen, gingerbread, and sipping warm Glühwein, mulled wine, while you walk through looking at beautiful Christmas decorations. And it's even going to list you some of the best Christmas markets in Germany through this clickable link. I'm not going to click it, but go to this website. It's called wanderingermany.com if you want to click that link and see some of the Christmas markets around Germany. All right, underneath it looks like a more secluded one, Berlin Beer Week. This is obviously something that's going to be held in Berlin. While the Oktoberfest Munich Beer Festival takes center stage as the German beer fest, it's far from the only one, and that's why we're here today. If you're in Berlin during the Berlin Beer Week, it's a great time. While Bavaria is known for its beer purity laws, Berlin is a bit more loose, meaning they have a really fantastic craft beer scene that has emerged in recent years. You can take on a brews cruise, that's clever, I like that, down the river, eat at the fantastic food events, and of course, sample all the craft beers. Since the event takes place literally all over the city, it's a great time to sightsee in Berlin as well as enjoy a great festival. Looks like this happens on the 2nd through the 11th of September. I would love to hit that up. I've been wanting to go see Berlin for so long now. That would be right up my alley if that was to happen for me. I really would love to see something like that, but there you go, another festival other than Oktoberfest. All right, so moving on, what do we got? Krampusnacht. I had a friend of mine that I worked with on the US installation that took his kids to see this a few years back. But while Krampus festivals in Germany often coincide with the Christmas market, there are some that are their own amazing, unique festivals in and of themselves. Again, these will most likely only be seen in Bavaria and in the southern parts of it, but a Krampus run is truly an event that you will never forget. St. Nick's devilish counterpart, he's part goat, part devil, and he's ready to whip and eat any boy or girl who has been naughty this year. Oh my goodness. In some locations, the Krampus outfits are so elaborate and handmade that they are seriously frightening. The Krampuses are leashed out into the streets to terrorize everyone and steal away any naughty people in their lair. Oh my gosh, is that a festival? Is that something you want to take your kids to? If it is, it's right there. Have at it. This probably wouldn't be for me. December 5th and 6th. Have fun with that. Don't love beer? No worries. Head to Berlin for a truly unique festival in Germany. A tea fest. That sounds very cozy and comfortable. It speaks for itself. I don't need to go any further than that. All right, the Ostermarks, the Easter market, similar to the concept of the Christmas market, the Easter markets are a great time to wander around looking at the beautiful Easter decorations. So if you like Easter, here you go, a whole festival or market dedicated to Easter. Fasching and Carnival, I've probably been to these more times than I've been to any other one because they're just always there, right there for me to go to. Everybody's familiar with carnivals. This is no different. Hit one of these up, dress up in your favorite costume. They throw candy and stuff out at your kids. Enjoy some Glühwein if it's still cold outside, something to eat, and just have a good time. Fasching is always fun. All right, the Maibaum. I don't know what the Maibaum is. The May tree. Hoisting the maypole is another fantastic celebration. Oh, I do know what this is. Mostly done in Bavaria, which is why the poles are most often seen painted in the colors of the Bavarian flag, blue and white. I do see this being hosted in this area. So what I've seen them do is they carry the Maibaum, the tree or the pole, and they go to the center of the village and they put it up, they stake it to the ground, and it just stays there for I don't know how long, but that's what I've seen them do with the Maypole. There's another thing you can hit up. That's not necessarily a festival either, but it's an event. So I guess they're just giving you other events that you can attend. The Stark Beer Fest, yet another fantastic Bavarian beer festival other than Oktoberfest. These are some of the best German beer festivals I've been to, taste-wise. Stark beer is so good. Now, I'm not a fan of that kind of beer, but if you are, here you go. A festival dedicated to nothing but Stark beers. I'm telling you, there's so many festivals to hit up other than Oktoberfests. All right, so we got the medieval fests here. That speaks for itself. The medieval fest aren't a German or even European specific type of event, but there are plenty in Germany worth going to. So there you go, medieval fest. Hit those up if you're into medieval type stuff. Oh, and look at this, right on the coattails of the medieval festival, it's the Slaying of the Dragon Festival. You like dragons? My daughter likes dragons. She would definitely want to hit up something like this. While it could very easily go under the medieval festival section above, a unique twist on the classic medieval fest is the fun annual Drachenstich, or Slaying of the Dragon in Fürth im Wald in the Bavarian forest. That actually seems like it's kind of fun. And this dragon looks cool as fuck. I like that dragon. Whoever designed that and made that, thumbs up to you. That looks badass. The Hafenfests. Many cities that have ports have giant festivals celebrating the anniversary of the port. One of the notable, largest, and oldest Hafenfests is in Hamburg, where over 1 million people come to the festival on the water. Ships of all shapes and sizes, time periods come to celebrate all the way back to the 1100s. If you're into ships and older ships and 1 million people being there to celebrate it with you, go to the Hafenfest. There you go. Hamburg, Münster, Mannheim, and Ruhrorter. Hit those up. For 141 years, Kiel hosts the Kiel Week, which is considered the largest sailing event, not just in Germany, but in the world. And some even consider it a Volksfest as well. You like sailing? Hit up Kiel Week. But you better hurry up because it looks like it's from the 18th of June through the 26th. The Reeperbahn Festival. While Bavaria holds the title for a lot of the traditional German festivals, the North clearly has done an amazing job of bringing modern celebrations to the stage. One great example is the Reeperbahn Fest, held annually in Hamburg. It is often compared to the Austin, Texas's South of Southwest Festival, which is a huge club festival. Wow, that's crazy. So if you're familiar with that, you definitely want to hit up something like this. It says it's everything. September 21st through the 24th, plenty of time. The German Asparagus Festival. No need to go any further into this. You know what that's going to be about. You love asparagus? Hit up the German Asparagus Festival. All right, the Zwiebeln Fest, the Onion Fest. I like onions. I've never heard of the Onion Fest though. So if asparagus isn't your jam, what about onions? I like onions. Each year since 1653, the town of Weimar puts on the entire festival dedicated to onions. And just like the asparagus and the pumpkin festivals, be prepared for plenty of mouth-watering food dishes, showcasing the mighty onion. My favorite German onion food to eat, the onion cake. Onion cake. Although it's not sweet, yeah, I wouldn't think so, but instead savory and almost like a quiche, it is the absolute perfect dish to eat any time of the day in autumn. So that's going on from the 7th through the 9th of October. You like onions, you need to hit up the Onion Fest. So the last one on this list is the Summer Solstice Mountain Fires. Wow, that looks cool. It's literal fires on the mountains. Okay, so one of the most magical German cultural events that I have been to is the Bergfeuer for the summer solstice in the Bavarian Alps. While this isn't necessarily a festival per se, it really is a once in a lifetime, well, actually once a year, experience that takes place annually on the summer solstice in the summer. It actually is a tradition that many places in the Alps all partake in, where they light gorgeous bonfires on the cliff sides of the mountains. Wow, this photo looks grand. I really like how that looks. Look up at the right there. They got fires at the very top of that mountain. You know how amazing that would look in person when this is completely dark and nothing but the fires are going? So the summer solstice, I'm guessing that's next month sometime from the recording of this video. In Garmisch and the Tyrol, June 18th at 9:30. Tuesday, June 21st is a solstice where many other places will have their own fires. Wow, that would be something to see. I don't know if I'll make it down there to see that, but I'm definitely going to look it up on like YouTube or something. So there you have it. If you're a non-German, a foreigner, or just someone who doesn't know any better, if you thought the Oktoberfest was your only hope, that was your only choice of a festival here in Germany, you were sadly mistaken. That was 23 different fests, markets, events that you can attend all outside of Oktoberfest. So now that these things are happening again this year, most of us should have the motivation or very little excuse for not hitting up at least one thing this year. I know I'm gonna try to hit something up. After missing it for 2 years, I'm gonna try to hit something up. I'm gonna try it. But thank you, I appreciate you watching part 2 of this video. If you didn't see part 1, I'll put it on the screen right now. And let's get out and do something, because it's been 2 long years and everybody needs to enjoy Germany again.